Dear student, welcome to my channel. Topic of this video is C programming, and in this video I am going to explain nested loop. This is the part 1 of nested loop. Now let us start. A nested loop means having one loop inside another. The inner loop runs completely for every single iteration of the outer loop. Now this is the syntax for nested for. Now here one loop is outer and this is the inner loop. So first execution starts from the outer loop, then it will go to the inner loop. First complete the inner loop, then again it will move to the outer loop. So this will be very well explained with the help of example. So this is the example is given, but I will explain the further, not now. Syntax for nested while. Similarly for while conditions are like that only for nested. So this is outer while, this is the inner while. But when we do the nested loop program, at that time most of the time we prefer the nested for. Why? Because initialization, final condition and updation takes place in one line, so it is very easy. And when we use the nested while loop, at that time three different statements are there, so better is that used to nested for. So this is a similar example for nested while. Similarly we can do the nested for the do while also. This is the outer do while and this is the inner do while, and this is the example for do while. I will explain as example come across. Now in between we will come to break and continue statement. So already I have explained the break and continue in while and for example, and break is also explicitly taken in switch. Now what is mean by break? Immediately exits the innermost loop or switch statement. So this word is very important, innermost loop. For example, if only one loop is there and if we use the break statement, then it will come out of the loop. It will never come out from the if else. If we use nested loop and if we use break in an inner loop, it will go to the outer loop, that is inner loop breaks. If we write down the break in outer loop, then when break happens, it will come out of the entire loop. And in switch case we are using, after each case we are using the break statement. It is useful to exit a loop early when condition is met. For example, search stop after finding a particular element. Continue skip the current iteration and moves to the next iteration of the loop. Useful to skip unnecessary iteration without exiting the loop. Now we will see the example. Now see here in this example, the loop is going from I1 to 5. Now when I equal to 3, the loop breaks. So what happens? When I is 1 and 2, this condition not satisfied, so it will print 1 and 2. But when I becomes 3, it will break. So when breaks, it always breaks from the for, not from the if. So we will come out of the loop and 4 and 5 will be never check. How what happens? Same exactly program in continue. When I is 1 and 2, it will print 1 and 2. When I3 happens, continue, that is nothing but what? It skips all the statements after the continue and it will iterate the next iteration. Next iteration I becomes 4, condition not match, it will print 4. Next it will check 5, it will print 5. After that I becomes 6 and it will come out of the loop. So this is the difference between the break and continue. Now we will see the first program. Write a C program to print the following pattern. Now here I will explain the how nested loop works. That's why I have not taken in the previous slides. Now see, we want to print a simple star pattern. Now we will count how many rows are there and how many columns are there. So rows are nothing but the outer loop and columns are nothing but the inner loop. And generally we use subscript for outer I and for inner j. Don't mix, always for outer I, inner j, and again one if inner loop is there we are using the k, and after that element if more and more inner loops are there. Now see how the program works. We have declared the variable ij. Now I is the outer loop, so I becomes first 1. 1 less than 5, yes, it will come into the loop. Now it will completely first execute the inner loop, which goes from j equal to 1 to 5. Now see, I equal to 1, it will go into the inner loop. Now j will change from 1 to 5, that is 5 times. It will print star, 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 star. Now see, slash and line is not there, only slash t, therefore this gap is there. After j becomes 6, it will come out of the loop, because j equal to 6, 6 less than 5 not satisfied, it will come out of the loop. When it come out of the loop, it will print slash n. See, after j loop slash n is there. Slash n is nothing but new line, so cursor comes here. After that there is a end of the outer loop, so it will now outer loop is not end at all, because outer loop will goes from I equal to 1 to 5. Now only I equal to 1 is completed. Now it will go to the again for iteration I equal to 2. Now I equal to 2, again j will takes from 1 to 5, new line. Then I becomes 3, j1 to 5, I4, j1 to 5, I5, j1 to 5. After that I become 6, but when I become 6, the scope is not there because it will come out of the loop, so there is no question to go into the j loop. So in this way output gets printed. Now the same program, only instead of star we are printing 1 here. Now you can observe the program. Even one care you have to take, if you use here slash n, what will happen, every output will come on a new line, so there is no pattern at all. So you require to check where to use the slash n. That's why there is no need to use actually opening and closing bracket, because only one single statement is there. But not to confused, or so that if when you get practice, there is no need to use opening and closing if one statement is there, but there should be no confusion. That's why I have used an opening and closing bracket. So this is nothing but the j loop ends. After that you print the slash n, and then it will continue the next iteration for the outer loop. This is very easy. Now see, I is 1 because we started with 1. If we start with a 0, our logic may be different. I is 1, I is 2, 3, 4, 5. Now check, when I is odd number we have to print 1. When I is even we have to print 0. When I is even we are printing 0. So when we come here, at that time we will check whether I is odd or even. When I is odd we make 1. When I is even we make C0. And in the j loop, while printing we are just printing the value of C, and which is set by I loop. That's why you don't remember the problem statements. Why? Because here I have started the loop with I equal to 1, but it may happen that you may start the loop from I equal to 0 to less than 5. So at that time your logic is totally different, because 0 is nothing but even. So at that time you require to do the different things. Now see the next program. So when in exam such question comes, better way you always write down in this way, so you get the idea. Now see, by seeing this pattern you will immediately come to know that when the value of j is 1, 0, when the value of j is 3, 0, when the value of j is 5, 0, I value does not matters. So when j is odd you have to print 0. See, when j is odd you have to print 0, and when j is even, that is 2 and 4, you are printing 1. So in this way for j, in j you directly don't start to print, you check the condition, that is if this else c equal to 0 and printf c. So every time it will check whether j is odd or even, and based on that it will print the value. Now see this program. Before I explain, you just try to understand. When you plot such type, it is very easy. Now you can see that when j is 1, I may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When j is 5, I may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to print 1. When I is 1, j 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I is 5, j 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now see, if I equal to 1 or I equal to 5, matlab either you are in the first row or in the last row, or j equal to 1 or j equal to 5, print 1, else print 0. I will explain again. Here when you are going to print 1, when I equal to 1 or I equal to 5, or j equal to 1 or j equal to 5, so it will check the condition and see everything or is there. Either I equal to 1 or I equal to 5, anyone should match, or j equal to 1, j equal to 5, anything should be matched, the condition becomes true, then you are printing the 1, otherwise you are printing the 0. So in this way, if you write down like this, it is very easy for you to understand. Next, write a C program to perform the following pattern. Now this pattern, now you can see that only 0 is there. When 0 is there, when j is 3 and I is 3. See, when I is 3 and j is equal to 3, here OR is not there, because we want when I is 3, if I use OR, then what will happen? For anything of j, it will take the value. Both conditions must be satisfied. Therefore, I equal to 3 and j equal to 3, print 0, otherwise print 1. But in previous program, lot of combinations are there. That's why we have used either I equal to 1 or 5 or j equal to 1 or 5. Any one match, we are going to print 1. But here, we should use the AND condition. Now we have to print this program. Now see, 1 plus 1. Now see, when 1 is printing, I 1 plus 1 is 2. When this 1 is printing, 3 plus 1 is 4. Matlab, even numbers are there. For this one, 5 plus 1, 6. Now check this number, 2 plus 2, 4. 4 plus 2, 6. And for 0 number, you check the number is what? Odd number. So it is not necessary that every time you should use this logic. You can use your own logic also. That is not a question, because only it should match the proper condition and print the value. Otherwise this logic is not fixed. But I put this logic as I have put all this in a table, so it is very easy to guess. So what is the question? What is the condition? When I plus j mod 2 equal to 0, we want to print 1, and otherwise we want to print 0. So in this way also we can put the logic. Next program, 11011. Now see, now here we can see that either I equal to 3 or j equal to 3. I equal to 3, j equal to 3 means this happens, and in this case this happens, but we don't want this condition, we want all the conditions. So what I have given condition, either I should be equal to 3 or j should be equal to 3. So this case entirely and this case entirely, it will print the 0, otherwise it will print the 1. Because when I equal to 3, at that time our j should be anything, so that's why either I should be 3 or j should be 3. So when I equal to 3, all this match, and when j equal to 3, all this match. So that's why OR operator is there to print the answer. Now we have to print this pattern. Now see, this is nothing but diagonal. That is what I equal to j. So all this diagonal when I equal to j. Now see this pattern, 5 plus 1, 6, 4 plus 2, 6, 3 plus 3, 6. Then next is 4 plus 2, 6, 5 plus 1, 6. Now see, either I equal to j or I plus j equal to 6, then print 1, otherwise print 0. Now for this problem 0 triple 1 0 1 0 0 1, so there is no pattern match. So for that we require to write down each and every condition. So I have written this condition. For example, for 1, now see this condition. First we will check this condition. So here, what is the value of j? 2 3 4. J is 2 3 4. At that time I is 1 or I is 5. Now see, j is 2 3 4, at that time I is 1 or 5. See, I is 1 or 5, at the same time j should be greater than or equal to 2 and j should be less than or equal to 4. So either any one of this condition and this condition fully match. Now we will check this. Now I should be greater than 2 and less than 4, at that time j should be 1 or j should be equal to 5. So when you write the program, at that time there is no need that you should write down this condition directly. First you write down this condition, check whether it is working or not. Once it happens, you require to just put the OR operator and the opposite condition. So that's why you always do the step-by-step program. By this way also we can write, because here there is no any formula working like I plus j equal to like this. So that's why I have put this condition. So in this way the nested loop programs are very easy. So this is the first part of nested loop. In the next video I will explain the next problems of nested loop. Thank you.